Back in June, it was reported that Jeff Wittek had sued David Dobrik for $10 million. This lawsuit had come 2 years after the initial accident that occurred back in 2020 when David was planning an epic video return back to YouTube after taking some time off at the beginning of the pandemic. David had this idea to spin his friends around a lake using an excavator, and at one point, Jeff grabs the rope and David is swinging him around, going way too fast, and when he stops the machine abruptly, Jeff slammed into the machinery and fell into the water. The accident left him with permanent brain damage and damage to his eye. It's only been this year, though, that Jeff has truly spoken out about what went down behind the scenes following the accident and really opened up to the fact that David hadn't been as there for him as he would have liked. David and Jeff went back and forth a couple times at the beginning of this year before Jeff ultimately decided to actually just sue David for the accident. People had been urging Jeff to sue once people heard that there had been an accident, but he says pride got the best of him, and he was honestly scared to sue such a beloved YouTuber because at the time of the accident, David was at a career high and people truly loved him so much, to the point where he was scared to come out and say anything negative about David, even mention an accident at all, and he just didn't want people to know for a while. He also had so many friends in the vlog squad, and he was worried that they wouldn't take his side or see his side or understand him at all. And honestly, unfortunately, in the end, it did seem to be the case that once Jeff spoke out about David and everything going on and wanted to sue, the vlog squad was very distant from him. Jason Nash has come out a couple times to say that him and Jeff still talk, but Jeff has still really heard that a lot of the other members haven't really talked to him since and have honestly encouraged him to be nice to David still and be on good terms with him. But I will say, in the end, a lot of fans told Jeff that he needed to sue, and they reassured him and had been telling him for a while now that he really needed to sue. And that was because people really truly believed that he deserved to receive compensation for all that he had been through, at least to make sure that his medical bills would be taken care of. And even other creators such as Casey Neistat have expressed major sympathy for Jeff in this situation. And I talked about this earlier this year that Casey Neistat had actually been filming a documentary on David's life since the beginning of David's career and wanted to put together something to display how big of a success he was, but all of that turned completely upside down once this accident happened. The documentary turned into something much darker, and at its release at South by Southwest, it was clear Casey didn't want to stray away from all that had happened and put the events of the accident on full display, including the uncensored footage of the actual accident. He also interviewed David following the accident, and David did admit to feeling responsible, but David also said things to upset Jeff in the documentary, which led him to suing. Prior to the documentary's release, Jeff had said that Casey Neistat actually sent him footage of David talking about the accident, and Jeff shared on his podcast that David had said that it was Jeff's fault the accident happened.
He called me, FaceTimed me to show me the clip of the interview when David addressed the situation with the crane. And he said that it was my fault. David blamed me for the crane. He insinuated that I was crazy. I always want to push it. And I'm the reason that this happened, when that's complete bullshit. There's 20 people on the beach that are witnesses. I have 6 terabytes of footage of you asking me, begging me to go out there and do the thing again, and that you would spin it slow. You just want to take me out there because it's more scenic and it looks better on camera. It's more cinematic. And just to hear him sit there and say that, I was in shock at first, because I'm looking at it over FaceTime and I just couldn't believe that he would say that.
This is when Jeff started to get way honest about what had actually gone down and said he regrets ever sugarcoating the accident in the documentary he himself made, and was just so hurt by not only the way that David had been talking about the accident, but also how he hasn't shown up for him as a friend, saying David hadn't checked up on him in a while, and it was all just so hurtful.
I just want to tell the truth finally. I gave this mother so many chances. Even now, a week later, I still haven't heard a peep. I've been posting on Instagram because it feels good, because you f***ed me so bad mentally and physically that, yeah, this is how I cope now. No, I'm not holding back anymore. I'm kind of pissed off that, even in the documentary we made, we sugarcoated it. There was so much more that I could have said, but I tried to protect this guy for so long. It takes time to see people's true colors, but at this point, I've just completely given up, and it feels good, you know?
So finally, Jeff decided the lawsuit was happening, and he was suing both David and the company that provided them with the excavator. And honestly, I could see them being in way more trouble than David for giving out machinery like that to someone without a license. And now it's come out that David has had some choice words about the lawsuit, saying the whole thing should be thrown out. According to TMZ, in his response to Jeff's suit, David claims Wittek knew how risky the stunt was and can't blame David for his injuries. David is asking the judge to dismiss the complaint and award nothing to Jeff. And obviously the public hasn't responded well to seeing David respond in this way, as they think at the very least, Jeff deserves compensation for medical care he has had to receive over the last 2 years. And Jeff has even said before that he will need to have surgeries probably for the rest of his life to help his eye. It's just such a horrible situation and a frustrating one at that. Since David has been sued by Jeff, he has stayed off YouTube completely. No podcasts, no YouTube videos, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been active anywhere else. Not only has David been super active on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, but he's been investing a ton in new businesses with his friends. And he's even about to open that pizza shop he's been talking about for years. It seems like David is really trying to find the next big thing for him to make money off of, because he probably knows YouTube isn't the way anymore based on how people are viewing him. Forbes recently did an entire story on David and his business ventures, saying David Dobrik is taking the business world by storm. It says David Dobrik has formed some great relationships with founders and has partnered with Happy Hour Tequila Seltzer and Zila Fitness. And he's even become a founder himself, launching his own pizza restaurant, Dobrik's. He said, Dobrik's came about because I'm from Chicago and I love pizza. It's tavern style pizza, so it's really cracker thin. And the sauce is very sweet. We drip this honey glaze over it. It's really good. And we have pizza called the Doughy Dobrik, and that's a Detroit style, thicker focaccia bread. That's really exciting. We've been working on this for 2 years. In mid-October, there should be a physical location open, and I'm really stoked. This is something that is really new to me, a physical object for a digital person. That's why I think it's crazy, because everything is online. Any product is always online. And I'll be very curious to see how all of his business ventures go, especially Dobrik's, because that's his name on it. That is his. And I do feel like if he was at the peak of his YouTube career and he opened this, it would be like a hit, just like how Mr. Beast seems to be doing really well with his Beast Burger company. But given David and his whole history, I don't really know how this is about to do. And some are wondering how he has the ability to kind of stay afloat through all of this, because yes, he probably made a ton of money during his peak YouTube days. Yes, he had that Discovery show. That's a lot of money, but he also spends a lot of money, and his house is freaking expensive. Like, I can't imagine the taxes and the mortgage, like all that type of stuff. Maybe he bought it outright. I don't know, but I know the taxes. I can't imagine. But recently in a H3 episode, Ethan recalled that David did have the app Dispo. And in March of 2021, the company had a $200 million valuation. Tons of people were investing in the company and thought it was going to be the next big Instagram. But due to David's cancellation, he had to leave the company. And Ethan suspects that he was probably bought out of the company in order to save the app. And with a valuation that high, he probably received a ton of money due to that. And as a result, he can afford to not do YouTube anymore and has the ability to invest in all these companies and really get involved in the business world and not have to sweat about, things going wrong, because he's sitting on a lot of money from this app that never really came to be. It's all just so crazy how all of this has happen, and I do believe that Ethan is probably right in that he did get a lot of money to not be a part of the company anymore. But he seems really excited about these business ventures. He said on Snapchat recently that he's getting closer and closer to the launch of his pizza shop, and like I said, I wonder how it's gonna do.
Ilya just got back from Dobrik's. How was it?
Fucking amazing.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
It's really sick.
It's really sick, dude. I'm gonna start tearing up.
I'm not allowed to see it. I've obviously seen the renderings because we designed it, but I'm not seeing it till the day it's made, and it's a week from completion. I'm so excited. It's a small space, keep in mind. It's gonna be exciting.
But this entire situation is a lot, and there's just so much that goes into the story of David's career, and so much that honestly hasn't even unfolded yet. All I have to say is that I hope Jeff is taken care of and that he does get some money from this lawsuit. Anyway, that is what's going on with David. and what he had to say in response to the Jeff Wittek lawsuit. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.